Welcome, boys and girls! It's time to open the gates of adventure and mystery to the land of Medeville! Chapter 13, A Joyous Moment. As we woke up on a cot full of frost-falcon feathers, we caught a glimpse of the other two cots. As I hopped out of the warm-to-the-touch cotton seats, looked at my brown sack of marbles and the mechanical pen. If someone took it out of my pockets and placed it on a wooden table near me, I took my chief sword near the table. I climbed down the rickety stairs of the old inn and stepped down into a bar. Pungent aroma struck my nose. As I felt the drifting smell, some of the kids danced in rhythm to a white wooden flute. Look who's finally awake, sleepyhead! Joked Laura, as I sat on the feather stuffed cushion stool near her. As the bartender handed out 2 bowls of steaming hot yellow soup, I uttered, Laura, I know who's behind the dark remnants, and it's not your mom. And who else is behind those cryptic crystals? Asked Laura, as I chucked down the burning yellow soup. It's now. He's trying to break out of the dream zone, I answered to the hushed tone, as Laura dropped the spoon on the ground. After a ding, Laura blurted out, Do you mean Snell, the mythological boogeyman? As everyone froze and the music stopped, I took Laura by the hand and dragged her outside. Yes, I did see him. It's definitely real, because I knew him, whispered into the streets of Ulster Kingdom. Excuse me, if you're having any troubles with a boogeyman, I can help you with that, with the harsh voiced woman, as we followed her past the lemon dark tower on top of the hill. As we arrived at the edge of town, a calico cat with 1 red eye and 1 blue eye sat on top of the hut, stepped inside the straw flat hut. Laura, are you a witch? Well, yes, princess, I am the witch, named Taffin, answered the harsh voiced woman, as Laura approached an oversized book. She opened the horsehide book. Names appeared with a blue glow on the bamboo paper. Well, that will put this as all the names of the witches and warlocks that live in every town within Medeville, stated Miss Taffin. With one flick of a finger, the book closes. Wait, do you know Malin? As I stood near the bubbling cauldron. Well, my sweet child, Malin was my daughter, and she got cursed by that wretched king up there, spouted Miss Taffin, as the cauldron overflowed with red mist. The red mist covered the floor. Laura, is there a way to get her back? Oh, maybe there might be a way to alter her curse, but I need your help to rescue her from the king. I see Miss Taffin. The mist dissipated through the floor. She both jumped out of the door, tapping yelled, Your Majesty, a little boy came by looking for you a little while ago. As we danced past the purple vines of the skeleton forest, I rammed into a boy with a familiar brown curls. Is that you, Robert? I asked with a tear rolling down my face. She busted back up. Come on, Si. I've always been your friend, but you won't believe what I've seen in this world, rumbled Robert as he dusted off his cream-clad cloak. As it were, echoed the discolored forest. 2 purple oozing cougars hopped over the purple vine. As I withdrew my sword, spit flew into my face. The cougars pounced. A gust of wind blew them. Guys, come down here, shouted the voice of Sling. As we followed her to the ruined house, as Sling hopped down from the trees, a gust of wind blew the trapdoor open. It'll be safer down here, said Sling. So he climbed down to a dark and dimly lit catacomb. As Robert grabbed the silver torch from the wall, Lord squealed, I can't believe that you are fairy blood. Celine, what's a fairy blood? Asked Robert. She struck down the ancient tunnels, the pipes scattered along the ring. Well, fairy bloods are people with very unique powers or abilities. I explained as we stepped into an underground chamber. A chamber with a wooden floor and a broken portrait of Snell and Valdor. So they were friends, whispered too loudly as Celine blew the portrait back on the wall. Yep, Snell and Valdor were best friends back when they were kids. Like your friends, Si, said Celine, as Robert trembled to almost losing the torch. But that tale was so long ago that many don't know what actually took place between those two. For the as the torch was extinguished, as we entered the door open, we stepped into a black stone brick room, where a small arched window overlooked the town below. Oh dear, me and Laura shouldn't be here, spouted Celine, as he dragged Laura into another hidden passageway. We'll see you later, shouted Laura, behind the portrait of a boy cloaked in shadow. Robert dropped the extinguished silver torch. We both wandered down the dark hallway. The other portraits of the past kings and queens, each one had their eyes crossed out with black ink. I can't believe that my father's leading his armies to Nistan Kingdom, grumbled Bellevue from his chamber doors. So continuing further down the hall, Robert asked, What the heck is the Nistan Kingdom? What is Laura's kingdom for the last 20 years? I answered truthfully. She bolted down into the dungeon. She passed an infinite number of prisoners. All said, Get us out of here! Get us out! The cursed stone sat on the end of the corridor. As we headed for the stone, all the prisoners took their chains and bars. As it took the small rock from its pedestal, all the prisoners fell silent. Turned around to see Prince Bellevue standing behind us. Robert struck his stomach. The prince tumbled down in front of the awestruck prisoners. Robert pouted, I'm sorry for the martial arts that my parents forced me to take. As I put the cursed stone into my pocket, we left the unconscious prince to Miss Taffin. Oh my, I told you to only bring the stone, not Prince Bellevue, ordered Taffin, as me and Robert laid him on the cot. As I took the rock out of my pocket and placed it on the table. Taffin chanted, Reform! The curse is something new. The stone lit up with a blue glow. Taffin stated, It's nice to have you back, Malin. As Bellevue woke up from the cot, sweet voice Malin asked, Do you remember me, my son? Yes, Mom. I do remember you. Will deliver us the stone flute to confront him, to comfort him? Well, thank you, sire, for bringing me back, but I'm still missing one more person to make me whole once more, stated Maylin from the flaring blue glowing rock. Well, Vera went back to Lumos village, I ordered as he flew out of the window. The Belleville followed her out of the hut. Me and Robert strolled through the empty streets, the sun rolled behind the mountains. That about my happiest moment, finally uniting with Robert. But King Sebastian's already marched into the Eastern Kingdom. Maybe this started to move, or was he miles ahead of me? My mind constantly wastes. Well, only time can tell. I yawn. As me and Robert step into the inn once more.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and buy my books over Amazon, and have a magical day.